Fox 32 has information indicating the FBI has launched an investigation into controversial Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
Dane Placco has been following allegations of her misspending and joins us now with an update. Dane.
The store came here to the gas station. It's on his live. All the evidence is on this boy's live. He said, "Oh, I got him now. I'm gonna pull up now and jump out." He jumped off the car. He was recording him with his phone. Walked up to our car, and then we was bagging out. We pulled over right here. And it should be on their cameras too.
Millions of dollars stashed away. Tiffany Henyard, the so-called super mayor, has finally turned herself in after a startling FBI raid revealed her dark secret. She has been living like a queen while her town drowns in debt. Her luxury existence has been built on falsehoods, and now this is the downfall everyone has been waiting for. Her lavish lifestyle, supported by public funds, is collapsing, and she could spend the next 25 years in prison. This is the scandal that will blow the lid off everything. Tiffany Henyard, the once untouchable super mayor of South Chicago, is now facing 22 federal charges. These aren't just ordinary corruption. They involve millions of taxpayer dollars that were allegedly mishandled and concealed. The FBI had been following Henyard for months, and after backdoor whispers and subpoenas, they finally took action. What really hits home, though, is that Henyard has previously been incarcerated for vehicle trespassing. Now she faces a list of charges long enough to guarantee significant prison time. Tiffany is cruising around in a taxpayer-funded motorcade, flaunting her power like it's her personal playground, and she doesn't care about you, the people of Dolton, Illinois, or the town's finances while her city implodes. Just wait to hear how Henyard used Dolton's piggy bank to buy her own purchases. In a year, how does a town go from rich to impoverished? 2 words: Mayor Moneybags. Tiffany wasn't just living large, she was living double extra large on Dolton's dime. We're talking about a small-town mayor with big city dreams and an even bigger appetite for luxury, while the good people of Dolton were struggling to make ends meet. Their fearless leader was out here acting like she won the lottery. Picture this: a $7,700 shopping spree at Target, Walgreens, and Wayfair all in one day, September 1st, 2023. That's not just a little retail therapy, that's a full-on shopping assault. And guess who was footing the bill? That's right, the hard-working taxpayers of Dolton. And Mayor Henyard wasn't about to fly coach like the rest of us peasants. Nah, she was all about that first-class life. And why stop at fancy flights? Our girl Tiffany even hired a professional hair and makeup team, because apparently running a town into the ground requires looking fabulous. 247. Now, you might be thinking, how bad could it really be? In just 1 year, Henyard's administration managed to rack up over $12,000 in travel expenses. Dolton went from having a nice little surplus of $5.6 million to being $3.6 million in the red in 1 year. And while Dolton was going broke faster than a contestant on a spending game show, Henyard was living it up like a real housewife of Illinois. The outrage was so real that they actually had to ban Henyard from using Village credit cards for unapproved purchases. Imagine being the mayor and getting your allowance cut off. Y'all thought the spending spree was wild? Buckle up, cuz we're about to take a detour down Mama Henyard driveway. And let me tell you, it's paved with more than just good intentions. Turns out she wasn't just treating herself, she was spreading the love to her family too. And by love, I mean a whole lot of taxpayer cash. We're talking about a cool $561,000 spent on repaving her mother's driveway. You heard that right, over $500,000 for one driveway. Our DOT and diva didn't stop at family renovations. Nah, she decided the town's police force would make a great personal security detail, because who needs cops patrolling the streets when you've got a mayor to chauffeur around town? While the good people of Dolton are wondering where all the cops went, Henyard's got them running errands like they're her personal task. Tea was spilled by former police chief Rabbit One.
We needed those officers to be on the street fighting crime, and instead we have several officers that are riding around.
Henyard, on the other hand, lives as though she has her own secret service. The remainder of Dolton wondered if anybody would still answer a 911 call, but Tiffany wasn't going to allow petty issues like regulations ruin her party. Even after having her plastic privileges withdrawn, she continued to have a good time. Rolling, it seems as though, even being cut off by the Illinois State Comptroller for careless spending, she believed that being mayor entailed being the queen of her own tiny realm. Despite this, Henyard managed to organize a lavish celebration for the suburban town, spending $50,000 on only 1 hour of entertainment. In the meantime, the town's residents, including Jennifer Roberts, were left incensed. She told WN9 that it was her money, the people's money, and that she had spent an additional $6,000 on sound systems, staff, equipment, comedians, and even $6,600 on bounce houses. Kiki Wyatt and Jay Holiday each walked away with a cool $30,000 and $20,000 for just 30-minute sets. Valeria Stubbs didn't hold back either, labeling the event a complete failure with just 70 attendees. Stubbs didn't hold back, claiming that she enjoys using tax monies to further her career and that, in the words of another resident, sure Britton Henyard isn't one to give up easy. Because Tiffany is a narcissist, she would stop at nothing to get what she wants, even if it means putting cuffs on her. The FBI and irate taxpayers were the only ones who saw the true plot twist, though. Carmen Carril, Tiffany Henyard's former right-hand woman, was a trusted sidekick who knew where all the bodies were buried, figuratively speaking, but something made her flip. Remember that quiet assistant who was always trailing behind Henyard? It turns out she was the one holding the matches that would burn it all down. Maybe it was a guilty conscience, or maybe she just got fed up with watching Dolton get robbed blind. Whatever the reason, Carril decided it was time to sing like a canary. This lady went from fetching coffee to dropping bombs on her ex. Boss's whole operation for 2 years. Carril had a front row seat to all of Henyard's shenanigans, and let me tell you, she saw enough to make your head spin. Carril went straight to the feds with a stack of receipts taller than Henyard's ego. She spilled all the tea about how Henyard was running Dolton like her personal piggy bank. We're talking about manipulating employees, vendors, and residents, all while flashing that $1,000,000 smile for the cameras. In Carlisle's own words, for the past 2 years, Henyard has manipulated employees, vendors, and residents using her position to increase her influence, all while projecting a false image of success, funded by the hard-working taxpayers of Thornton Township and the village of Dolton. After Carlisle started talking, she got attacked, and I'm not talking about a mean tweet or some nasty gossip. We're talking physical attack now. Nobody's pointing fingers, but word on the street is that Henyard might have had something to do with it. Carril wasn't the only one jumping ship, though. Remember Keith Freeman, Henyard's former aide? Well, he's in hot water too, facing charges for bankruptcy fraud. But here's the thing, rumor has it he's singing to the FBI too. Henyard's been known to intimidate trustees, silencing anyone who tries to expose her shady dealings, and when firing them didn't work, she used taxpayer dollars to make sure she was always in the spotlight. Literally, her face is everywhere, from billboards to government buildings, like some dystopian nightmare. The worst part is that her misbehavior has not only damaged the economy, but also lives. Survivors of her crimes have finally come forward to share their tragic tales of financial ruin and intimidation tactics. This is not just a corrupt mayor, rather, it is a woman who has turned a whole community upside down. Just when Henyard thought she had escaped a bullet, she suddenly found herself in the path of a much bigger one. The FBI is not known for playing around with small change, so what kind of money are we really talking about here? Rumor has it that the feds are looking closely into Tiffany Henyard's finances, and they're not playing around. Subpoenas are being issued left and right, demanding everything from personnel files to credit card statements. The FBI's investigation into Dolton's town hall set off the drama. They weren't there for a friendly visit, that's for sure. Instead, they arrived with legal documents prepared to unearth any money that Henyard might have misplaced, and these subpoenas are revealing every aspect of Henyard's opulent lifestyle. We're talking about those expensive trips. The FBI isn't just looking into Henyard's official business, they're also looking into her personal life. She put her cancer charity under scrutiny, and her political action committee wants to see those books. Even her private business ventures are receiving the third degree. It seems like the feds are playing connect the dots with Henyard's finances, and they don't like the picture that's emerging. She took the security detail that followed her around like she was a Kardashian, and every single dime that might have slipped from the town's coffers into her designer purse. According to Brittany Norwood, the community has been pleading for assistance from the FBI, and it appears that they have finally been heard. They have been asking for someone to come out here and save them, and there have been many expenditures that we are not really aware of. The feds aren't just interested in Henyard, they're casting a wide net, pulling in her political buddies and anyone who might have had their hand in the cookie jar. Word is the FBI's got some high-tech tricks up their sleeve. They're using electronic surveillance to catch any sneaky business Henyard and her crew might be up to. While all this is going down, Henyard still sitting pretty in her mayor's chair. Can you believe it? The feds are circling the towns in an uproar, and she's acting like it's business as usual. Some people in Dolton are getting real antsy, wondering why justice seems to be moving so slow. The people of Dolton are fed up. They've been watching their town go down the drain while Henyard legs it up like she's on some reality show. Just when everyone thought Henyard was going to keep fighting, she pulled the ultimate, reverse card picture. The FBI is closing in her inner circles, falling apart, and suddenly she decides to turn herself in. What could make a small-town mayor with a taste for luxury choose a jail cell over her lavish lifestyle? Yeah, Tiffany allegedly just walked herself right into the FBI's hands. Can you believe it? 1 minute she's acting like everything's fine, the next she's turning herself in like it's no big deal. Word on the street is that Henyard is working on a plan. Some say she's trying to make a deal with the federal government, getting some leniency in exchange for spilling tea on her criminal partners. However, the town of Dolton has been waiting for this moment, holding their breath to see if justice would be served. Tiffany Henyard's downfall has been swift and brutal, marking a stark contrast to the life of luxury she once enjoyed. Once flaunting designer clothes, first-class flights, and personal makeup artists, Henyard has now traded it all for a prison jumpsuit, as the consequences of her actions have finally caught up with her. Ironically, her own lawyer recently filed for bankruptcy, highlighting the absurdity of someone who earns over $220,000 annually yet finds herself entangled in financial and legal chaos. This speaks volumes about the twisted control Henyard exercised during her time as township supervisor, a role she manipulated for her own benefit. In a blatant attempt to hold onto power, she passed a dubious ordinance reducing the next supervisor's salary to $25,000, aiming to discourage any challengers from running against her. But her manipulative tactics and lavish spending have backfired, exposing her corruption and leaving her legacy in shambles. Henyard's story is a sobering reminder that no matter how powerful or wealthy someone becomes, greed and corruption can bring about a rapid and humiliating fall from grace. The situation in Dolton, Illinois, has reached such a critical point that the town has had to bring in former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot to help clean up the mess, and they're paying her a hefty $400 an hour to do it. When you stop and think about it, things have to be extraordinarily dire for a town to hire a figure like Lightfoot, known for her controversial time in Chicago, to try to fix their crumbling governance system. The financial and political turmoil in Dolton has been building for years, with residents holding rallies and demanding justice as the town's leadership seemed to spiral out of control. At the heart of the chaos is former Mayor Tiffany Henyard, whose extravagant spending habits and questionable leadership decisions left Dolton in complete disarray. Though Henyard may have turned herself in to authorities, the town is still struggling to recover from her actions, and millions of dollars remain unaccounted for. The federal investigation into her activities has exposed just how deep the corruption runs, with some residents left wondering if they'll ever see a dime of the money that disappeared under her watch. The outrage among Dolton residents has simmered for years as they watched their town sink deeper into financial instability, with state payments to the town even being stopped, including a crucial $135,000 that Dolton desperately needed. Residents are not only angry but also relieved to see Henyard in handcuffs, a symbol of accountability after years of feeling like they were living under a dark cloud of corruption. Her reckless spending became notorious, with one shocking incident involving a $440,000 Amazon shopping spree in a single day. This brazen misuse of public funds was noticed quickly, drawing attention from both local and federal authorities. But despite Henyard's arrest, the damage she caused lingers, and the town remains in financial chaos. Lightfoot's hiring may be a sign that Dolton is desperate for a hero, someone to rescue the town from the mess left in Henyard's wake. But whether the former Chicago mayor can succeed where others have failed remains to be seen. Meanwhile, the investigation continues, and the town's residents are left waiting, wondering if Dolton will ever return to financial stability or if they'll forever be haunted by the millions that went missing under Henyard's leadership. With trust in local governance shattered, Dolton's future remains uncertain, and the town's recovery may take years, if it happens at all. The downfall of Tiffany Henyard, the former mayor of Dolton, Illinois, wasn't just about financial corruption. It was a storm of accusations that included sexual impropriety during trips to the city, wrongful terminations of staff, and even charges of sexual assault. These serious allegations contributed to Henyard's collapse, painting a picture of a deeply troubled administration that extended far beyond mere mismanagement of funds. While it's unclear if Henyard has genuinely turned herself in, there's widespread skepticism among residents. Some believe that she might be trying to manipulate the system, angling for a better deal or possibly protecting someone in a higher position of power. Despite her apparent legal troubles, she remains a controversial figure, with many residents left wondering why she isn't already behind bars. The sentiment among the townspeople is clear. They're asking, why is this woman not in jail, and why is she still the mayor? These unanswered questions have only fueled the perception that the justice system in Dolton is deeply flawed and potentially corrupt. It's hard for the residents to reconcile the fact that someone facing such serious accusations continues to avoid prison. However, amidst the uncertainty, there is a growing sense of hope in the air for the first time in a long while. Henyard's downfall represents a possible turning point for the town, which has long been plagued by her corrupt leadership. Many feel that Dolton can finally begin to heal now that the queen of corruption has left the building, so to speak. Still, one thing is clear. Tiffany Henyard isn't backing down easily. Despite her legal troubles, she seems determined to fight, and the battle over her fate is far from over. This leaves the town of Dolton in a precarious position. What's next for this small community that has been rocked by scandal after scandal? That's the million-dollar question. With their mayor behind bars, at least temporarily, and the town's finances in shambles, Dolton is facing an uncertain future. The mismanagement under Henyard's reign has left the town's bank account empty and its reputation in tatters. But now that the truth is coming to light and the former mayor is being held accountable for her actions, there's a glimmer of hope that Dolton might finally be on the path to recovery. Many residents are looking forward to a future where transparency and accountability replace corruption and mismanagement. They are ready for a fresh start, even as they recognize that the road ahead will be difficult. However, the fight for justice in Dolton is far from over. With Henyard continuing to challenge the charges against her, it's clear that she won't go down without a struggle. As the investigation into her conduct continues, the people of Dolton are left in a state of limbo, unsure of what the future holds but hopeful that they are finally turning the corner on a dark chapter in their town's history. In the meantime, all eyes are on Dolton as its residents anxiously await the next steps in this unfolding saga. Will justice finally be served? Will the town's finances recover? Only time will tell, but one thing is for sure. The people of Dolton are ready for change, and they're not going to let Henyard or anyone else stand in the way of their town's future. So as we watch this drama unfold, the town remains at a crossroads, with the hope of redemption on the horizon, but the scars of corruption still fresh in everyone's minds. Keep watching for updates on this developing story.